Good afternoon to the device labeled Don's iPhone. You're muted.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Don Darnell.
Okay, thank you. Are you able to change your name on your device so that we have that? I'm assuming you're an attorney for one of the parties?
Yes, ma'am. For Cade Lewis. I don't know if I'm able to change it. Not a very sophisticated user.
Fair enough. What's your P number, please?
55268.
Okay, to the gentleman on the iPhone with the glasses.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes. What's your name, please?
My name is Tom Hocking, Hocking. I'm an attorney on Wildwood versus Montgomery.
Okay.
Plaintiff, I'm for plaintiff, P30955.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Hocking, we are putting you back in the waiting room for the moment.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Watts, if you can unmute for a moment. Do you have an attorney?
No, ma'am, do not. But I have a witness.
Okay, thank you. Give me just a moment. 14B District Court is now in session. This is Magistrate Hilary Braley presiding, now calling case number 23C1864. This is Cade Lewis versus Buddy Watts. Appearances for the record, please, starting with the attorney.
Don Darnell for Mr. Lewis, Your Honor.
Mr. Lewis, you need to unmute and turn your camera on and state your name for the record.
Cade Lewis.
Thank you. And Mr. Watts, your turn.
Buddy Watts.
Okay, thank you. Today is the date and time set for a first pretrial in this matter. The parties did appear before me back on January 4th. The plaintiff requested removal to the general civil docket, which the order for that was signed by the judge back on February 5th, it looks like. So, have the parties had a chance to communicate with each other with the attorney at this point?
Your Honor, I have not spoken with Mr. Watts. I believe Mr. Lewis has discussed, I think even before this case was filed, trying to settle this case, but it's my impression that Mr. Watts is not interested in any kind of settlement.
Okay.
So we haven't discussed anything.
Okay. If the parties are all amenable, what I can do is put you all in a breakout room together to have a conversation, Mr. Darnell, now that you are here, to see if you can also potentially assist with this. So is that acceptable to everyone?
That'd be fine, Your Honor.
I'd like to pass, honestly, because I can already tell you right now I'm not going to settle.
Okay. Then in that case, what I will be doing is setting a second pretrial date in front of the judge. So
It's just like, with all due respect, I don't feel in the wrong. So I'm just, with all due respect, I don't want to settle.
Okay. And I understand that, Mr. Watts. At this point, so the point of this pre-hearing conference is to see if the parties wish to communicate with each other, and then also if the parties are requesting discovery, to order that, as well as set the next pretrial date, which will be in front of Judge Washington.
Okay.
Okay. So am I correct in assuming that the parties would appreciate discovery in this.
Your Honor, if we could limit it to written discovery only, like no depositions, it's a pretty small case, but I would like some written discovery. Maybe set a limit. I think the court rules might be confusing with the federal rules, but 25 interrogatories, 25 requests to admit, 25 requests for production of documents, and subpoenas to third parties. I wouldn't be using anywhere close to that, Your Honor, but it's good to have limits.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. And how much time do the parties think they need for discovery?
We say 45 days, Your Honor.
You can do May 23rd.
Until May 23rd.
Yes.
That sounds good, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Watts, discovery in this instance is we're talking about basically an exchange of documentation. Okay. If you have further questions, you'll need to seek your own legal counsel. Discovery will be permitted until May 23rd, 2024, which will be the next pretrial date. 2 p.m., right? And that will be at 2 in the afternoon.
Your Honor, does your standard discovery order, does it limit the discovery period to responses made by that date? Just so we can avoid somebody issuing discovery the day before the expiration date.
So motions, dispositive or otherwise, must be heard at least 28 days before the scheduled trial date. But this is just the pretrial order, so it's fairly short.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So again, that pretrial date is going to be May 23rd. That will be at 2 in the afternoon over Zoom before Judge Washington. And if the parties don't have anything else at this time, then this hearing is concluded and you are free to sign out of Zoom.
Great. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Hello. Yes, I can hear you. Give me just a moment, please. Okay, thank you. Now calling case number 24C0423. This is Willowwood Development LLC versus Letitia Montgomery. Appearances for the record, please, starting with the plaintiff's attorney. Who needs to unmute?
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay. This is Tom Hocking, P30955 for plaintiff.
You and Ms. Montgomery, can you please unmute and state your name for the record?
Hi, my name is Letitia Montgomery.
Okay, thank you very much. Today is the date and time set for a first pretrial in this matter. Have the parties had a chance to talk about this yet?
No, we haven't.
No.
So what I will do is put the two of you into a breakout room to have a conversation, see if any sort of resolution is able to be reached that way. If not, then we'll set a second pretrial date. Okay?
Okay. I don't think we're going to have too long a conversation. Either we'll settle it or not. I'm stopped here at a rest stop for on the way back from Florida. So, are you interested in settling it, Miss Montgomery?
No, I'm not.
Okay. All right.
No.
Then I just would ask for a second pretrial discovery and a second pretrial.
How much time do the parties want before the second pretrial date?
I would say 60 days. We could do discovery for 60 days and have another pretrial and either settle it or, do something at that point.
So that would put that next court date at May 23rd. Does that work for everybody?
That works for me.
It yeah, it can work for me because we're doing another Zoom.
Yes, it will be over
Yeah.
Zoom. Okay.
May 23rd.
Yes.
Okay.
So parties are requesting discovery. Discovery will be allowed up until May 23rd. That hearing will be at 2 in the afternoon over Zoom before Judge Washington.
Can we make sure we have Miss Montgomery's correct address?
I have an address at Concord Drive.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, doke.
Then if there's nothing else at this time, you've got your next court date, May 23rd, 2 p.m. over Zoom before Judge Washington. You will receive notice. This hearing is concluded and the parties are free to sign out of Zoom.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll be in touch, Miss Montgomery.
Okay. I just have one question about, do I log on to the same Zoom number?
You'll get a notice of hearing with the judge's Zoom information on it.
Probably
Okay.
the same. Oh,
Would
okay.
they-
I don't know.
I'm in the process of moving. So I have until the end of this month to move. So is there any way they can do it, send it to like an email, or how would I get the paper? Because I don't want to miss it.
So first, write it down or put it in your phone once you hang up from here so that you have it that way. Okay. You can call the 14B District Court to update your contact information with your new address, or if you're concerned about not getting the notice of hearing. The clerk should be able to give you whatever options are available as far as being contacted with the notice of hearing. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
We'll work on it. Hopefully we can settle it. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Miss Montgomery.
Bye-bye.
Now calling case number 23C4185. 5. This is LVNV Funding LLC versus Crystal Witt. Appearances for the record, please, starting with the attorney.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Michael Kirschenheiter for the plaintiff, P75722. How are you?
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Witt, can you please state your name for the record?
Crystal Renee Witt, the plaintiff.
I have you as the defendant, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry, the defendant. I apologize.
Okay. That's okay. So today is the date and time set for this first pre-trial in this matter. Have the parties had a chance to have a conversation about this?
Not today, Your Honor, but based on Ms. Witt's answer, we did send her out a fraud affidavit. I'm not sure if she received it yet or not, but we need her to fill that out so my client can review this for fraud.
Ms. Witt, did you receive that?
No, I have not. And I've actually been in contact. I spoke with somebody on a recorded line, 221, Latasha Thomas, in great detail about this. And I attempted on 3/7, 3/11, 3/19, and 3/20 to get this resolved. And there's been no fraud packet.
Okay. So I will note that the court is not taking testimony at this time. If the parties don't feel the need to go into a breakout room to speak about this at this point, then what I can do is order discovery and set your next pre-trial date in front of the judge.
That works, Judge.
Ms. Witt?
I'm just quite frustrated by this, honestly. I'm having to miss work for this, and this is something that should have already been handled. I attempted multiple times to resolve it with them. I filed my answer with the court after nobody would call me back, and I want this resolved. And there's no reason it shouldn't be resolved.
I'm happy to try to resolve it, ma'am. But if by resolution you just mean it's over with, then and we just dismiss it, that's not going to happen today. So
no, there's a portion of it that is my balance. I don't contest a portion of it.
okay, Judge, I apologize. If you could put us in a breakout, we might appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. You should get that invitation momentarily. Okay, 14B District Court is back in session, now recalling case number 23C4185 LVNV Funding LLC versus Crystal Witt. Were the parties able to reach any sort of resolution in the breakout room?
I'm happy to say we were, Your Honor. The parties have agreed to enter into a conditional dismissal. Ms. Witt is going to pay $300 at $50 a month, beginning in 30 days. So long as she makes those payments, the case will remain dismissed. If there's a default, plaintiff would be entitled to a judgment for the full amount of the lawsuit, plus the court costs, minus any payments made. And as long as the court's fine with it, I can file that order under the 7-day rule. And I have explained that rule to Ms. Witt.
That's correct.
And yeah, that will have to be submitted to the court for signature by the judge. So she will
Okay.
review it. Well, okay, defendants to pay $300, and that's at $50 a month, starting in 30 days from today's date.
Correct.
That would be Saturday, April 20th.
I mean, we can
The
do
19th.
the 19th is fine then, if Ms. Witt says so, that's fine.
Okay. Thank you. Then, if there's nothing else, then this hearing is concluded and the parties are free to sign out of Zoom. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Judge.
you.
Take care, Ms. Witt.
Bye. Thank you.
Oh, We are waiting for Ms. Roba to connect to audio.
Can you hear me?
Yes. So
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you. What did you say?
I said it's going to probably be another minute because
Okay.
she's connected to audio.
Okay.
Okay, you can go back on mute for now.
Okay.
Thank you for your patience, Ms. Armstead. She's still not connected to audio, so what we're going to do at this point is put both of you back in the waiting room for now. We're trying to see if we can get hold of her a different way. We will bring you back into the courtroom when we're ready. Okay?
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And Mr. Reed, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Okay. Thank you. Bless you. Now calling case number 23C2911. This is Leila Sills versus Fred Reed. Can the parties please state their names for the record, starting with Ms. Sills?
Leila Sills.
You.
Frederick Reed.
Thank you. Today is the date and time set for a hearing in this matter. This was initially scheduled for a hearing back on January 11th. There was a default judgment for the plaintiff entered at that time because of the defendant's failure to appear, but we later got a motion to set aside the default, and therefore we now have a new hearing set for today in this matter. So, as a reminder, with a small claims hearing, you are waiving the following 4 rights. That is the right to be represented by an attorney, the right to a jury trial, the right to sue or countersue for more than $7,000, as well as the right to appeal. Although, because I am a district court magistrate, you can appeal my decision to the judge here within 7 days of this hearing. So, what I am going to do is swear both of you in, and then I will take testimony, starting with Ms. Sills as the plaintiff bringing the action. Mr. Reed, you are not to interrupt her during her testimony. Following that, I will be taking testimony from you. Ms. Sills will not interrupt you either during your testimony. Okay, is everyone clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Raise your right hand, prepare to be sworn. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to the best of your information, knowledge, and belief, Ms. Sills?
Yes.
And Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, Ms. Sills, you may begin.
So this is new for me, magistrate. When you say testimony, I wasn't really sure how this is going to work because this is my first time ever participating in these type of proceedings. And I submitted some additional supporting discovery yesterday. Due to the time constraints, I was not able to try to send certified mail because I was not able to obtain the documents from Mr. Reed from the Belleville Post Office until Thursday due to the fact of my work schedule, and I work out of county. So I'm a little bit like not really sure of like what to say during this time because again, I've never.
Just a second. So basically what you are going to do is tell your side of the story.
Okay.
So you're going to testify as to what happened.
Okay.
I do have exhibits from both parties.
Okay.
Which I believe both sides should have copies of each other's things at this point.
Okay, so we'll start with the fact that my wedding was scheduled for September 10th, 2021 at noon. I met with Fred and, in his paperwork that he sent, he talked about that Miss Sills contacted me days before the wedding, and I requested that I come up early to the Airbnb. In the paperwork that I submitted yesterday, you will see the conversations between Fred and I, which was on that Friday beforehand, and me trying to express the communication of that there did not appear to be any concern or the basically saying that it was an inconvenience that I requested that he come early. But the conversation led up to that because that during that time there was construction down in St. Clair Shores, and my wedding rehearsal, we basically noticed from the travel of that route of noticing that there was going to be a lot of construction. So we were, becoming aware of the fact that we needed to plan for that. And so through conversations with Fred, if you continue on through the text conversations, that once he sent me over the itinerary, which was the first itinerary, I did come back and indicate to him that I needed to make changes to the time about an hour, because the original, the first itinerary was coming in at 9 a.m. And I asked him to change it. Here again, he said in the text, feel free to make adjustments to my times. And so that's when I came back and said 8 a.m. because of the fact that there was supposed to be a photo shoot for the males, which was at a different hotel. And then there was supposed to be a time slot for the bride and the girls at the Airbnb, along with any other type of photos that we were looking for. As you will see also in the text, that Fred began to indicate that he, again, like I said, Thursday evening, there was plenty of time for Fred to prepare himself to make sure that he was in St. Clair Shores by 8 a.m. If you look at the text, that Fred started texting on the day of my wedding at 8:38 in the morning, indicating that he was going to be running late. Fred was supposed to be at the hotel at 8 a.m. So he was already running behind before he even left, or I don't even know if he had left at that time, but I'm just indicating that the text came in at 8:28, indicating that he was running behind. And so therefore he missed the whole photo shoot of the men. He never got to that hotel to make contact with them. Additionally, you will see additional text that indicated that he blew a tire and that he was changing a tire. And look at the time of that text coming through. By the time that he was indicating that he was going to be there around 9:56 at the arrival time, he missed the whole photo shoot for the men. So then obviously when he got to the Airbnb where me and my girls were, it was very chaotic because we were still in our pajamas, so to speak. So we were actually running late because I should have at that point been getting prepared to get into my gown, because if Fred would have arrived on time, then I would have had that intimate time to have the, pictures taken in our gowns on the stairs. There was also supposed to be those candid photos that was supposed to be taken by the bride of her by herself, the beautiful Airbnb that we were in. We did not have time for any of that. By the time Fred got there, Fred was trying to hurry up and take pictures, which therefore, I'm not going to even lie, it affected my mood. It affected my face, because I began to, when I got the first text of him saying that he was running late, I was in the process of getting my makeup done at that time. I began to cry. I began to get upset because I'm thinking, how is this going to work? Knowing the route that I had to travel to get to where we were, that the traffic was horrible. So I obviously really anticipated that he was going to be late. Fred did not get to the Airbnb until after 10 a.m. So therefore, like I said, we had to rush, which means that he was 2 hours late for his arrival time to get those candid pictures. Prior to that, I had sent Fred, he asked me to send examples of what type of pictures that I wanted, as far as like giving him a workup, because of the fact that we were working with limited time. So I gave him numerous pictures of examples of what I wanted him to, give me as far as for my wedding day. Then he talked about the fact that, he said he was only an hour late due to a blown tire. Here again, I beg to differ. He indicated that the agreement was for him to depart the boat at the time when we docked. And at the time he docked, he said Miss Seals fainted and appeared as if she needed medical attention. I did not faint. I did become sick. I did become motion sickness, because it had like different levels of the yacht. And I didn't realize that because I had never been up on the top part. I've always, anytime that I did an example ride to know what I was going to be experiencing, I had never went up on the top. However, during the wedding ceremony, I went up on the top and didn't realize, obviously I had on a ballroom gown. I overheated myself, and I did become to the point where I did eventually had to vomit. I was taken into the ladies' room and vomited very prettily, as some people would say. My family and my mom, and they held my gown so that I could get together, and then I was taken downstairs because everyone that was on the boat, there was other family members that indicated that they, you know, work on ships and whatnot, and they said she's probably getting sick, she needs to be taken out to the level, bottom level, so she can level out. As soon as I went down on the main level of the yacht, I was fine. Fred never checked in with my husband. He never asked my husband before docking, is Leela okay? He never checked in with my husband to indicate, do you all need any more photographs because of the fact that I was late for your wedding or I missed photos of the men. He never checked in with us. He just left. He indicated that he uploaded the images to the same gallery as the engagement session. He met with me at my home, which he did. He indicated that he left flash drives with all the images. That is not correct. If you will see again in the communication, there was a day where where Fred began to indicate that he was on his way to my home, and he did come to my home. And as you will see, there's a couple pages after that where I indicate that I'm also reaching out to Fred days later, asking him, or basically letting him know that I don't have access to my pictures. I put a screenshot on there to show that what I was showing him was the SMUG and that my photos were protected. When Fred came to our home to show me and Earl our pictures, I keep bringing up my husband's. Fred brought his laptop. So we were able to view our images while he was at the home on his laptop. And yes, I did begin to communicate my frustrations with him, begin to say certain things because I was looking at more of the detail of the photos. More specifically, like there was one picture of just me by myself. My dress was not fluffed. My dress was very crinkled. If you're in a ballroom gown, you want your gown to be fluffed to completion, full flow. And it was not. There was certain things that, like I said, here again, I was really upset about the fact that we did not have candid pictures. Then you also will see in the text of communication, I think there was 2 days after my wedding that I began to kind of, indicate the frustrations with Fred about the fact that you are having to schedule another photo session, kind of sort of speak, with me and my husband to photo my nails and my rings and my shoes. If you had done a full thorough job, why would you be needing to get with the bride after her wedding? And she has went to her honeymoon, which was in Myrtle Beach, which was a lot of sand. The fact that my nails were not fresh, I had broke a nail. So you want to try to take pictures of a week's old bride's hand and then the shoes and whatnot. So here again, you indicated that you did a full, great, thorough job, but yet and still you missed certain photos. Again, me reiterating that those candid photos that I had wanted at the Airbnb, those were not taken. He indicated that he's made every effort to make me happy from the beginning of the end. I feel like, you will also see in the exhibits that I begin to say that there was a point of where Fred had indicated that he was going to follow up with me by noon. It was 2 days later. I was still waiting on him to get back to me from noon. It began to be where it was always a hit or miss, or it was always a lot of excuses provided by Fred as to why he wasn't communicating with me effectively. Then there's another text where I say, okay, Fred, where are we with my photos? He indicated that he was on a date. It was date night for him. He will follow back up with me later. And then, like I said, trying to kind of do everything because I don't have a copy of the paperwork that I submitted to the courts that's in my email. And I feel that, like I said, I was just really frustrated about the fact that we never got any pictures. And then I eventually, when you see me saying that I don't have access, yes, Fred did open up access to the SMUG hub, because if you would see, all of his photos are always protected by him, and he has to allow you access. And so he allowed me access. I was able to take screenshots of some of those photos, but here again, they were never edited. They were never finalized. They were never finished. And at around September 28th, I think, whatever's the last page of that is the last text and communication that went back and forth between Fred and I, because like I said, here again, I was indicating to him that you're always providing a lot of excuses except for the finished products, which was the final editing of photos and the finished copies. Still to this day, that's why we're here, because I never received edited finished photos. I have not one photo from my wedding that was finished and edited by Fred. And if I tried to log into the link that he provided to access those photos, just as well as my son's senior pictures done in 2018. Once he locks you out, I can't get back in it. So I have not been able to access my pictures since September 2021, when he allowed the access at that time. He indicated that he never ate dinner. I don't know if Fred ate dinner or not, but at the end of the day, I paid for it. I don't know. I can't recall exactly when he says that once he sat down, the bride called for him. You know, I didn't even eat. I paid for the dinner. I never ate. I never, maybe that's why I got sick. I don't know, because the nerves, I don't know, but I never got a chance to eat the own food. I heard how good it was, but I never ate it. I'm not, like I said, here again, he said he's not requesting additional funds. Fred never talked to me about any type of additional cost or charges when it came down to the engagement photo. Fred did a wonderful job on my save the dates. I appreciated his assistance, because here again, I did not know what I was doing. This was the first formal wedding that I've ever had. My first wedding was not like this. And so I was looking forward for this wedding to be everything that a woman could want her wedding to be. And I am traumatized still to this day, because I don't have wedding photos. The wedding photos that I have were basically provided to me for other people, or I took them off of Facebook, because there were so many people that spoke about the beautiful wedding that I had, and took thousands of pictures that I obtained, pictures from other people outside of the photographer that I hired. I just think that, here again, like I said, I think that it's unfortunate that it had to come to this point. I literally waited until the 2 years before I filed my claim within claims court, as far as to come to this point, because I tried to give Fred the benefit of the doubt and think that maybe someday, or in his heart, that he would realize, knowing that he never provided me finished and edited photos, that at some point he would try to reach out to me and say, Leila, can we just, I know you weren't happy, but I still want to provide you with your finished and edited photos, whether you're happy or not. And you also see on one of the texts, he indicated that he was willing to allow me to get dressed up again to redo my photos, because he realized how dissatisfied I was. I don't know any bride that is disgruntled or just upset about what is happening on her wedding day that can sit here and smile and be very photogenic and beautiful with the things that was happening at that time. I was not photogenic when Fred got there, because he was 2 hours late. I was rushed. I have anxiety really bad, so I could not even get comfortable enough. I didn't even take any selfies of myself on my wedding day, because I didn't even know where my phone was. That's how hectic and things were, and how discombobulated he had me before my wedding even occurred.
Thank you, Ms. Sills.
Yes.
Was there anything else that you wanted to add at this point?
I just can't believe that I'm still going through this at this time, and still asking for finished and edited photos today in 2024.
I am going to ask you to put yourself on mute for the moment. And Mr. Reed, it is your turn to testify, please.
Yes, ma'am. When we met, she was I was referred by one of my cousins. Whenever I get a family referral, I try to treat that client as family, which the price that I charge for the wedding kind of shows that. Most weddings, can be in between 1,500 to 3,000 based on other companies' prices. So when we met, I discussed the pre-wedding ceremony. Pre-ceremony, and basically what that is the bride and the groom getting ready for the pictures. I discussed the time slots involved. That is generally 45 minutes with the bride, 45 minutes with the groom. I discussed the ceremony. I don't limit the time on a ceremony. The ceremony, I don't bother the bride and groom as far as wanting them thinking what time that ends. And the reception. was discussed. Those services was discussed on the price that we had agreed to. Later on, during some of her planning, she asked for engagement photos and also flyer invitation and some website work. I resized her engagement pictures. And when I sent her engagement pictures, I sent her to her via SmugMug. SmugMug is a company that hosts my files where you can download the files, share the files socially, print the files, edit files. And yes, there is a very secure website. So basically how that works is someone would create an account with SmugMug, and whoever I share that email address with, and they use that email address with, they always have access to their photos. She chose her engagement photos out using SmugMug. She did have technical difficulty, which I helped walk her through, and I think her text messages show that. So once she got her engagement pictures, she chose the images that she wanted to be displayed on the website. She also chose the image to be used on the invitation. Requested, and my exhibit should show, requested changes, multiple changes to the invitation, removing blemishes, things of that nature, adjusting the photo. I did those completions. I completed a handful of changes to the invitations to her satisfaction. And then also uploaded the images to her website. Leading up to the wedding day, I did get a last minute request, which was the Airbnb. That was outside of the scope of work that I was hired to perform. We did talk about the financial things between the engagement pictures and the photo gallery. We said that we would discuss it after the wedding. Once again, I don't, whenever my clients are doing a wedding day, I don't like them to think of the financial part of it. Just, we will get through it. The day of the wedding, I did blow a tire, and I was late to our wedding day. It was the Airbnb, which again was outside of the scope of work. I arrived there about 10 o'clock. 9:30, 10. I thought it was closer to 9 back then, and I may have said 9, but she may be right. It may have been about 10 o'clock. I believe that the wedding was scheduled to be at noon that day. I could be wrong. I'm going off of my memory here. It might have even been later. But again, I did take pictures of her getting ready for the wedding. I took the pictures of her getting her makeup on. We did stage some shots between her and her bridal party. I took pictures of her Airbnb. There was certain things that wasn't there. Like usually both rings are there with the bride. And the rings wasn't there. So yes, I did want to get their rings together at a later on that time, which I communicated when I met with her at her home. And those were shots that I wish I would have had gotten when going through her photos. I did ask if she wanted to take, if I was going to be with the guys, but she insisted that I stayed with her until up to the wedding. So I stayed with the bride all the way through the wedding, not the groomsmen. That was what she wanted. I captured the full ceremony. I captured the full reception. Now, she mentioned about the groom, about the bridal pictures. First I'm gonna say this. She didn't have a wedding planner. Okay, so writing the itinerary and doing that last minute, that's something a wedding planner usually does, but I try to help when I see that it's needed. And she needed help. Um, um, the bridal pictures was scheduled to be between the ceremony and the reception. Okay. And the reception was on a boat. However, she had a meet and greet, which I didn't know about, and that was everybody from her ceremony congratulating her and then entering the boat. That took the whole block of time for bridal pictures during that time. She said that she felt like I should have interrupted that. However, I couldn't change what was going on. It was my job to capture it, and I captured it all. Everybody congratulating her. There was no time slot from when I showed up to her wedding to the end of the reception that I was not photographing everything, and that included working through my meal. I did know, I was very much aware that she was unhappy. And I tried to work through it and try to do a good job. Um, um, after her picture, after I captured her day, I met with her to her home. To my best knowledge, I gave her a flash drive and went over her photos with her. And she told me that she was unhappy with the photos. Everything was dark. Everything needed to be edited. She told me she was unhappy with her dress. That I should have fixed her dress. She was unhappy with her hair. I think she even said something about her nails, but I could be mistaken, but it was something else. But it was a lot of things she was unhappy with that she felt like I should have caught. And usually like things like that, I do try to catch. However, when I'm working hard, sometimes that is not the case. And in my opinion, she would have really benefited from having a wedding planner. So once she was very unhappy, and she told me that she didn't like any of the images. That she got better photos from other people posting it on Facebook and things like that. I gave her pictures. Okay. She had a problem accessing her original photo gallery that I sent, which was titled October 2021. She had trouble accessing that gallery online. I don't just, I give my clients their pictures on flash drive, and I also give my online gallery, which is better than a flash drive because they can access the photos anywhere and everywhere that they can and download them and print them. So I made rough edits. Okay. And that's what I do with all of my clients. Whenever I do the pictures, I make rough edits. I don't Photoshop, fix things on dresses. I don't do touch up the skins. Those are extra charges. So I uploaded her photo gallery, and that's what she wanted to see, her photo gallery. She was frustrated with SmugMug. So what I did was, in her text message doesn't show the conversations of fixing the issue. What I did was I moved all of her photos into her engagement photo gallery, okay, that I previously set up for her. Since she was having trouble with the other ones, because I knew she had access to that gallery. And I notified her of that, of that. And to this day, she does have access to that gallery. And at any point, and I've never gotten a request that she couldn't access her engagement pictures gallery. I know she has access to it because we've had it in the past. That's how she picks and chooses her other ones, her engagements. So, and I even can show on my screen, if I can share the screen, I can share her gallery of her engagement pictures, where all of her pictures are located on her gallery. I think that kind of covers my main defense. There is certain ways that I can generate links that are downloadable, like when you download a massive amount of files. However, a lot of people don't like doing that because of on the phone, but I could have had a request for that. I could have had a request for maybe trying to send them Google Drive if she was having problems, but I've never received a request that she was having problems after with the photo gallery after I moved them to her engagement gallery.
Okay.
I'm finished, I think.
You. Ms. Hills, did your audio go out? No. There we
Can you
go.
hear me now? Okay. So I was just had a few things I wanted to follow up in regards to what he said, and I didn't know if I was able to do that. That's why I asked.
Well, first, I am going to ask some questions because I want clarification on a couple things. One of them is I've got a copy of a contract in here that was signed September 18th of 2020.
Yes.
Okay.
That's when we first met. That's when that's why I was going to follow up, is that Fred indicated he was having some financial issues, and that is why the price was so low, and that is the date that we met and signed the contract, and I paid him the $650 that day at his home.
Thank you.
And I have a
Mr.
few things that I would like to say.
Ma'am, okay. And I understand that, but it is my turn to ask some questions at this point. So, Mr. Reed, when you were discussing what happened the day of, I did hear you mention getting to the Airbnb and everything, but I don't recall you specifically mentioning missing the men's shoot.
I didn't miss the men's shoot. I was told to stay with the bride during that time and photograph her leading up to that time. And I was told to do that by Miss Sills and her husband. And I stayed with them during the.
And I'm gonna cut you off because I want to, because keeping in mind that I'm going off of the testimony of the two of you and also the documentation that I've got, which the times that I have set out here, that was the text message from, I believe it was the day before. Yes, Thursday, September 9th. There was a text message sent at about 6:55 in the evening that appears to be from you, that has 8:15 to 8:45 groom getting ready at Hampton Inn. So
yeah,
are you saying that at some point between, what are you saying as far as that goes?
I was late to their wedding. And I do, so there is some accountability on my part for being late. And I admit that to the court, and I admit that to Ms. Sills. I showed up at 10 o'clock to the B&B. From my understanding, and Ms. Sills can correct me if I'm wrong, but from my understanding and from my memory is that I was gonna be at the ARB&B at 8 a.m. and then go and then take care of her and then go to the guys. Okay. So and then come back. And Ms. Sills can correct me if I'm wrong on that.
I'm going to go based off of the itinerary that, as I said, appears to be sent from you in a text message that it was 8:15 to 8:45 with the groom, 9:15 to 10 with the bride, and then from there, 11 a.m. at the yacht, and then the ceremony was at 12.
That is correct.
So. So and regarding the contract, there were a couple things that I had questions about in here. So you have a section that says photographers, copyright, and reproductions. All full res images with copyright release will be provided by Fred Reed within 60 days of the wedding. So that would have been by. Oh, ma'am, you can't smoke in court. I realize you're in your car, but you are also in
Okay. I'm sorry.
Okay, so that would have been November 9th of 2021 would have been 60 days from the wedding. And it's your possession, sir, that you did supply them?
I supplied them. It's been a long time ago, but I'm a little unsure about the date. The day that I met up with her, I gave her a flash drive, yes. But I don't know what that date is. I don't have the paperwork in front of me. It could be after the date. I'm not sure.
And at any point, was there an agreement between the two of you that there were supposed to be physical copies of these provided, or was it all to be digital? Because I'm not seeing anything in here about physical copies. I just want to make sure that I'm understanding this.
It was all digital.
Okay. Ms. Sills, was that your understanding as well?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So and Ms. Sills, you are claiming damages in the amount of $765. Is that correct?
That is correct. But I do have some follow-up when you get done with your questions, Your Honor.
And the amount that you're requesting, you are basing on, it was the $650 that you paid. And what for the food and drinks?
Food and drinks, and I believe I added the court costs in there. I'm not sure if the court costs were added in there, but they should have been.
They shouldn't actually. Those are kept separate until the end.
Oh, okay. So yes, it would just be the $650 and then the cost of food and for his body to be there because I had to pay for him as a guest.
much was the food?
I'm sorry.
How much was the food?
It was the food, but I just know that per person, I think it was 115 per person, which was that included the, that was the cost for them to be there.
Okay. Um, give me a moment, please. I am going to recall your case in a couple of minutes. When we return, I will make my decision. Thank you.
So do you know how long this may take? So the reason I was not approved to get time off today, I'm technically supposed to be working and I'm sneaking to do this hearing and just wanted to know about how much longer we would be.
Can you take 15 minutes?
That's push.
Okay.
I have to do what I do, but yeah, because I'm a state worker and we're very busy.
Okay. Give me a couple minutes. Thank you. 14B District Court is back in session, recalling 23C2911. This is Leila Sills versus Fred Reed. And at this time, the court is going to rule in this matter. Based on the testimony given today regarding the circumstances, obviously this was a wedding. It is a one-time occurrence. There's a lot of emotion involved with this. It is photographs that are being taken of the wedding are a special thing. It's a one-time event, and when the moments are missed, they cannot be made up. By your own admission, Mr. Reed, you were late to the wedding. That did have an effect on the entire process for the entire day. Based on that, the issues as far as accessing the photographs, obviously at this point it is about 3 years later at this point. I don't know if a flash drive was received or not received. It sounds like the pictures are still available online. So there is that at least. But based on the testimony and going off of contract law, specifically MCL 440.271, I am finding that Ms. Sills is within her rights to request damages in this instance. And I am going to find in her favor for the amount of $765 plus costs. And I would order that if the pictures are still available, if you are able to put them on a flash drive and send them to her, that you do that as well. So
Can you order that they're edited and finished, Your Honor?
So at this point, I have made my ruling, so it is what it is. So that concludes this hearing. I will be signing and entering the judgment. This hearing is concluded and the parties are free to sign out of Zoom.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's bring the other ones back in and see if she can connect to audio this time. Ma'am, you need to connect to audio.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you,
Okay.
Ms. Olmsted. You can stay muted for the moment. So, Ms. Robot, touch your screen and look at the buttons at the bottom. Because you cannot hear me. There we are. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you both for your patience. Now calling case number 24C0445. This is Abeba Roba versus Alana Armstead. If I can have your names for the record, starting with Ms. Roba.
Okay, my name is Abiba Roba.
Thank you. And Ms. Armstead, can you please unmute and state your name for the record?
Alana Armstead.
Okay, thank you. So the parties are here to sorry about that. Okay, so you are here today for a small claims hearing in a mini tort matter. And The court does want to inform you that by participating in a small claims hearing, you do waive the right to be represented by an attorney. You are waiving the right to a jury trial. You are waiving the right to sue for more than, actually, given the mini tort, more than $3,000. And you are giving up the right to appeal. You will have 7 days to appeal my decision as a district court magistrate. You can appeal me to the judge, whatever my decision is. Okay, so do the two of you understand what you are waiving?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Roba?
Yes, I don't understand what. Can you say it again?
Can I say which part again?
The one you asked me, I understand what it is.
So I was telling you
You
that,
think Mhm.
okay. So you have the right in this matter to remove to the general civil division of the court. By keeping it in small claims, you are giving up the right to be represented by an attorney, the right to a jury trial, the right to sue or countersue for more than $7,000 altogether, although this is a mini tort, so for $3,000, and the right to appeal. Because I am a district court magistrate, you may appeal my decision to the judge within 7 days of today.
Okay.
Okay, so how this is going to work. I am going to swear in both of you. I will take testimony starting with Ms. Roba.
Okay.
Said you are not to interrupt her while she is testifying. Then it will be your turn to testify, and Ms. Roba will not interrupt you either. Once I've heard the testimony and evaluated the evidence, I will be making a decision. Do you both understand?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So raise your right hand, prepare to be sworn. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to the best of your information, knowledge, and belief, Ms. Roba?
Yes.
And Ms. Armstead?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So, Ms. Roba, you may proceed with your testimony.
Yes, I was driving when my light was green. So, I'm not rushing. I was driving to work around 6 o'clock, before 6 o'clock. Yeah, my light was green. I don't know her light. She's supposed to turn left. So, it was really, it could be bad. She didn't even stop. Try to stop just the way she came straight and she tried to left. I tried to, hit my brake. And I know we got, I hit her on the back of her car, and my passenger side, I hit her. But at the time, I just, I came out and I say, I'm trying to say, we're okay. She was yelling at me, and I say, are you okay? And I go back to my car because, she was like, cussing me out and everything. So, then I call the police. The police came, and I explained the police what happened. That's what it is. And her, we claim her insurance. Her insurance say she have. I think her insurance. They say they can't pay.
And this traffic crash report from the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office.
Yes.
Said, did you see that traffic crash report as well?
You talking me?
Yes, Ms. Armstead, I was asking if you saw the traffic crash.
No, I got the paper that they sent me, which the report was wrong. I tried to contact the officer and I couldn't get in contact with him. I still have his card though, but the report was wrong.
Okay, give me just a moment as far as that goes.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so what I do have on this report notes that As Ms. Armstead was making a left-hand turn, it was struck by Ms. Roba, or sorry, not it, but your car was struck by Ms. Roba. Okay. So, and Ms. Roba, if that concludes your testimony, then Ms. Armstead, it's your turn.
Okay, so I was coming from my mother's house, and like she said, it was around 5, 6 o'clock. I was going left on, I think it was 4 Boulevard, I believe the street is, and my light was blinking yellow and turned green. I seen her flying. She didn't have any headlights on or anything. It was dark. And as I turned, she smacked the back side of my car. I thought I was in it clear enough because my light turned green. It blinked yellow and turned green. So that means that her side of the light was red if my light turned green to turn left. And so I proceeded to turn left. She's flying, no lights on, anything, and smacked the back of my car. Yes, I was frustrated and hyperventilating. I'm a breast cancer survivor going through things. I just lost my job. I'm a single parent. And it's late. You're flying. It's a 40-mile-per-hour road down there already, and you're flying. And she tore my car up, man. No headlights. Her light was red because my light was blinking yellow. I'm a very cautious driver. Once it stopped blinking yellow, it turned green. And that was my signal to turn left.
Okay.
And I turned left.
So my question for you regarding this turn, when you entered the intersection to turn left, was it while the light was still blinking yellow, or had it
Yes,
turned...
I was still sitting there while it was blinking yellow, and then it turned green while I was still sitting in that section. I turned when it turned green. I'm very scared to drive. Like, it was already dark, and I'm a very cautious driver when it comes down to stuff like that, because people do be just flying, even with it being just a blinking yellow light. And when it turned green, I turned, and the back end of my car got hit. My brother was also a witness. He was driving a school bus, but because he's still at work, he wasn't able to make it. But he was on the school bus behind us as we were turning.
Okay. So just so that I am very clear, because you sat at the light while it was blinking yellow.
It was blinking yellow.
You did not enter the intersection until it turned green. Is that your testimony?
Yes.
That you didn't
Yes.
start there?
I didn't turn until it turned green.
And Ms. Roba.
That's not true, Your Honor. She was, driving, coming straight. I wasn't flying. I wasn't flying. I was driving very carefully. I'm a careful driver too. And my light, it was on. Automatically, my car is when it's dark, it's light by itself. And I asked if there is a camera, we can, I will ask there is the road camera if I would like to.
He tore my car up, ma'am.
Okay, no. You can talk to me. You can address questions to me. You may not.
Yeah, my car is damaged too.
Okay, and I was just saying that you're not to talk to each other. You are both to address the court. Thank you.
No, yeah, I'm talking to you, ma'am.
So, Ms. Roba, my question for you is, as you were approaching the intersection, what color was the light?
It was green. It was green, even it's green.
Her light was not green.
Okay, now keep yourself muted, please. Ms. Armstead, did you have a conversation with the police officer?
Yes, I did. And I actually called the police. And my brother had, the one that was driving the school bus, actually finished the conversation because I was very upset, like, because she didn't have any lights on and she just crashed into my car. Her light was red. If my light turned green to proceed to turn left, how was it that her light was still green?
Okay, so that is a question that I cannot answer. There are any number of
I
things.
asked for I asked for cameras over there in that area so that they can go back from that night. They said, the officer said he wasn't sure if they had cameras.
Here, turn your camera
My
off.
light was green.
Sam, okay, turn your camera off because you're breaking up a lot. Sometimes turning off the camera helps with that. Okay. Give me just a moment, please. Okay. The court is, you're back on? Okay, thank you. 14B District Court is back in session. Recalling 24C0445, Abeba Robot versus Alana Armstead. And at this time, the court is ready to make a ruling. And I do want to remind both parties that you do have the ability to appeal my decision to the judge within the next 7 days. And at that time, if you should decide to do that, then the judge will hear the case all over again as if it was the first time. So, with that in mind, at this time, based on the mini tort provision in Michigan law, specifically MCL 500.3135, that states that a person may recover damages to a motor vehicle up to $3,000 for accidents occurring after July 1st of 2020 to the extent that damages are not covered by insurance. The plaintiff's vehicle was operated at the time of the accident while covered by insurance, which I do have I believe it's an estimate here. The damages total over $8,000. And Ms. Roba, I'm assuming that was not all covered by your insurance. How much of that was covered by Progressive?
Nothing. No.
So, okay. So you're saying that Progressive didn't cover any of that?
Yes.
While I find the testimony of both parties to be credible, the police report specifically states that the driver of Unit 1, that being Ms. Armstead, is at fault for failing to yield. Between that and, as I stated, the Michigan mini tort law, I am finding in favor of the plaintiff for the amount of $3,000 plus costs. And once again,
Okay, Your Honor, I'm sorry. I don't have a job. I stay in public housing. And so how is it that she's going to get something that I don't have?
so
And I feel like this is really unfair because she crashed into my car. Your Honor, her light was red. There's no need for me to lie. Like, I'm already struggling and going through life right now. And she hit my car. I had my light, yes, it was blinking yellow. It turned green and I proceeded to go, Your Honor. And she was flying with no lights on and crashed into my car. Like, I don't understand this. Like, I put that on my life. I would take a lie detector test. I asked for cameras. She didn't have no lights on and she crashed into my car. My light turned green. So how was it that her light was green if mine was green?
So, and
oh God.
You can file an appeal. It will be heard by the judge. And at that point, as I said, it will be like a new hearing, as if this one didn't happen. So you are welcome to file the appeal. I will say that for a new hearing, any evidence or witnesses or anything else that may exist should be brought to any new court dates. But at this time, based on what I have in front of me and based on the law, I am finding in favor of the plaintiff. This hearing is concluded and the parties are free to sign out of Zoom.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So how is she going to get anything if I don't have anything, though, Your Honor?
That will be, there will be a judgment issued by the court. It will have instructions on how that is to work.
I mean, I'm gonna have to get legal help or something. I'm in public housing. I just beat breast cancer not too long ago. I am struggling, Your Honor. I don't have the help. And I'm not lying. I'm not going to come to court and lie about turning at a light. And she crashed into my car.
Ma'am, The
And I have witnesses, and I wish they could have been here because my brother drives a school bus, and he was behind me.
and ma'am, what I am saying is that my decision can be appealed within the next 7 days and be heard in front of the judge. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So, for today, there is a judgment being entered